What is up, guys? This is Sam.
And this is Xiomi.
We're coming at y'all with the first episode of our Coffee with Friends podcast. Now, I will say that this is not the first time that we've recorded this. We've had a couple of takes under our belt, but I think we got a hang of it and have a better idea as to what we want this to become. This is a ever-changing, ever-evolving organism of a podcast. So even now, there's not necessarily a main kind of idea, focus, or really direction that we're going other than wanting to have a space to have conversations that we find interesting or valuable from our day-to-day, from conversations that we have with people at our actual Coffee with Friends that happens in person at our place. Slight little plug there, every third Saturday of the month. And our community nights, which we've started doing as well on every first, second, and third Thursday of the month. And we just wanted to create a space to have conversations, to share conversations that happen at community night for people to access if they aren't there in person. When we have guests on the podcast who we really want people to hear that, again, maybe show up to these community nights and maybe you're not there to hear it in person. We just want to create a space for people to access conversations that are honest, vulnerable, open, and real, really. So I will also preface this. We are doing this in our new home. It is very open. We are in the dining table area. And we have hardwood floors, and our dogs are constantly walking. So if you hear a little pitter-patter here and there, that is either Austin or Ren, just so you guys are aware.
There might be a stray meow here and there.
Yes, because we do have a new addition to the family. Little shout out to Suki. So just wanted to preface that. Again, this is not a perfect podcast. This isn't professional in any way, shape, or form. So just bear with us. Anyway, but let's go ahead and let this thing started. So I guess first let's talk about Coffee with Friends. Sure. Where did that come from? Why did that happen? Just bring us into that, because I know this is really actually your brainchild. This is your desire. This was your desire for a long time, and we're actually doing it, and I love that. So bring us into that. What is it? Why did you do it? All that stuff.
I guess I'd give you a little backstory. I'll try to condense it as best as I can. So just like look at me intensely if I need to hurry and go faster. But many of you know, many of you don't know that we moved here at the end of 2021 from Houston, but we were initially in Dallas, and we kind of met. When we met, we had this like giant community of creatives around us. And if you've ever had a chance to like sit with us and talk with us, this is something we've talked about consistently, but just kind of like we had a lot of community when we got together, and a lot of community just kind of in all of that. And when we moved to Houston, it was kind of just like the two of us and his family and a couple of my coworkers and like two of his friends. And then we got married. And after getting married, we maybe 7 days later moved to Austin. And that was a big transition for us, as far as like our families weren't close and our closest friends weren't close. And so it was just kind of the two of us for a really long time. And for that first year, it was really difficult. I'm going to speak for me because this is mine, right? If you know me, you know that like I love being surrounded with people. In fact, being around people is what gives me life. It's what makes me feel alive. And, you know, I know some people that like being around a lot of people is draining. For me, it's the opposite. If I'm alone for a long time, I feel very drained and just kind of lose a little bit of sense of who I am, just because I love to be around people so much. And so that whole first year, I kind of bopped around a couple of jobs. I landed on like a job at a coffee shop, and I've loved coffee for a long time and honed my skills in Houston and Dallas, and just kind of came to Austin with those skills. And I was like, I'm just going to work a coffee shop job. And so that's kind of what I did for a while. And Sam was working his job, and we still kind of had no community. And that was like a lot of our conversation was like how alone we felt. And I mean, we were driving back to Dallas almost every weekend, driving to Houston. We were driving either to Houston or to Dallas pretty consistently, at least twice a month, which can be pretty taxing when you have a job to be at on Sunday mornings, right?
Yep.
And so it was getting really exhausting. And I think at one point we really hit a low point in our lives. where we felt really alone. I mean, if I would go into a lot of detail, but we had this really difficult time. And I feel like after that, we just really kind of sunk.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
got stuck. And for me, as somebody who loves being around people so much and values that so much, I just kind of spiraled. And when 2024 came, I think we were driving somewhere. We had a lot of really good conversations when we're driving. I think it feels pretty safe for both of us because what are you going to do in the car, you know? Somebody's got to stay level-headed to drive, so it feels safe.
Yeah.
And so we were just still discussing the whole, we have no community. We don't have people to hang out with. Like, we used to have this and used to have that. And I think like I just reached my threshold of complaining. And I was like, you know what? I'm over it. And we came back home. I don't know. I think we were coming home from Houston, I think. And I got home and I sat down and I was like, you know what? Like, babe, I'm just tired. I'm tired of complaining. I'm tired of all these things that we don't have. And like, we really haven't put our best foot forward in even trying. And I think like in our heads, we thought this was going to be easier. And that's not something they tell you in adult world, how difficult it is to create community as an adult. Now, granted, like we're still young, but like it's hard.
Yeah.
And you have to put in so much effort and you have to like dedicate so much time to it. And not to say it's impossible, but there's definitely like a lot of more.
Yeah, you have to fight for it for sure.
Yeah. And so earlier last year in 2023, he bought me an espresso machine just because I wanted one. You know, shout out to my husband who gives me all the stuff that I want. But he bought me one and with this dream, and this was in March, actually. We bought the espresso in March of 2023. I used it maybe like 5 times like max. Rare. I think when your friends, like when Trevor and Kaylee came over, I used it like once and like rarely ever since then. And so I was like, you know what? Like, I think this is a good time to put this to use. If you know either one of us personally, you know how polarly different we are and how very differently we think. And he's thinking about, what would you call it? He's thinking more like, not logically, because I'm logical too, but he's thinking more logistically is what I'm trying to say. He's thinking, how many people can we fit here? It's going to be cramped. It's going to be this, you know? And that was Ren. Yeah. And I'm definitely more like, if people want to be here, they're going to be here and they're going to sit on the stairs and it's not going to matter. Yeah. Because when you want to be somewhere, you're just somewhere, regardless of how cramped, how crowded, and it doesn't matter to like, that's how I think. I think, yes, logistically, I'm thinking how much milk do I need? How many coffee beans do I need? And I feel like if it's going to be like a good time, it's going to be a good time whether people are standing or sitting. Yeah. And the coffee is free. The connections are free. And I'm just thinking, this is how I think things. You know, he's obviously more like, I'm going to be crowded. We're just different in that sense. And I was like, whatever. Like, I don't even think I asked you if we could do it. I think I more just was like, this is what I want to do. Yeah. And I think he saw in my eyes that this was something that I really needed for myself. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, like, let's do it. I have the machine. I have everything I need. And because I am me, I had to buy special cups. So I did buy special. I wanted the real coffee mugs for like lattes. Yeah. But really, I mean, all that to say, like, this was for me to feel like I have community. Yeah. To create a space that I so desperately needed at that time in my life. And I did. I was desperate for connection. I was desperate to like know someone deeply that wasn't my husband, that was close in proximity, that wasn't, my best friend in Dallas, that wasn't, like I was needing that community for my own like mental health, for my own well-being. And so I was like, you know what? Like, if I need it, I know other people need it too.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was a lot of conversations leading up to that moment where people were looking for the same things.
Mm-hmm.
People my age, people younger than me. And so I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to do it. It's going to be an investment because oat milk is not cheap.
Yeah, guys, it's expensive.
It's not cheap.
Even real milk.
It's not even milk. It's oat juice. It's cheap to make, but it's a lot of work. And, but it's a commitment I'll happily make. And it has been so great. I mean, for me, I think it's just been fun to make coffee again.
Yeah.
Because I miss making coffee so bad, so bad. I love my job, but I miss coffee.
Yeah, for sure.
Something about it is just different. And so it's been great. I mean, we've had weeks where lots of people, and we have weeks where like one person comes. And either way, we're happy to connect and like have this relationship and go deep and have like weird conversations and maybe conversations people aren't used to having.
Yeah, and I think that's like the place where that was birthed from. Like you were saying, it's just like that kind of selfish desire that we had to have community for ourselves and have a space where we can, you know, meet people and know them at a deeper level. But in that selfish desire and that kind of like looking into that need that we had for ourselves, finding that it was met, that need was met, you know, that other people had, like that desire that people had to experience the same thing was met with coffee with friends. Like it was something that we all were blessed by, like we all were receiving that need together. And I think, again, that's just a beautiful kind of full circle moment that we've had looking at what this has become, how it came from a place and a thing that we wanted for ourselves to becoming a thing that the community around us was also taking that from, like taking a blessing from that and having that need met. And I think, you know, again, the whole reason why we're doing this in a podcast format is to do kind of like a, you know, virtual coffee with friends type of deal. We'll have people come and we'll have guests on the podcast and we'll, you know, bring conversations up and things like that and things that are happening at the real coffee with friends. But it's more than that. It's an ever evolving, ever, you know, changing thing. And with the ever evolving and changing things, we added a new thing, which is community nights, which that is fairly new as well. Something that just started happening about like a month ago. And that was about a month ago, right?
I think so.
Yeah, a couple weeks already. And that really, again, was just, it stemmed from that same desire and that same place that you had for coffee with friends. And this is more so for the church, like for people who want to go deeper in relationships with one another and God. Because, you know, coffee with friends is open to everyone. I mean, both these things are open to everyone. But, you know, coffee with friends is a little bit more.
It's a different target.
Yeah, like that's not our target. That's not our desire, you know, and things still happen, but that's not the whole point for coffee with friends. But with community night, it's a little bit more geared towards people who are wanting to grow deeper in their relationship with God and with one another. And it's kind of like this, again, ever evolving and changing thing. Yeah. And what we've seen with community night is that it's also been like the same side or the different side of the same coin, rather. And it still kind of hits the same need, just in a different way. I mean, it's been really beautiful to see.
Yeah, I'd say coffee with friends more hits like that relational desire to like just relationships between one another, and community nights is more to like deepen your relationship with God. Yeah, I think it's both relational. It's just one is horizontal and the other is vertical.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then they both do that too, because the cool thing about community night is, and again, it's like you're experiencing deeper, like just depth with God, with others who want the same thing. And we said this, I think the last one that we had, you know, because we did communion together at our last community night, and it was like, you know, the most beautiful thing you could experience, and actually a really great way to go deeper with God is to go deeper with other people, because it's such a vulnerable thing. Like when we worship together and we do communion together, that's a very vulnerable thing to do with others. And, you know, again, that's kind of like where we were reading in Acts. Like that's how, you know, the church grew. People were added to the faith daily because of the breaking of the bread, because of, you know, the sharing of the gospel and the baptism of believers. And like, that's what got people to go closer and be so intentional with one another. And again, that's like the beauty of these different things that we do and that we offer, you know, whether it's coffee with friends, whether it's community night, whether it's just coming and hanging out. I mean, we have anime nights at our house, you know.
There's snacks at every single one of these.
Yeah, and there's always something, and I love it because, again, like our whole heart, truthfully, with this new home that we've moved to and this kind of new season that we've stepped into in life, it's we want our home to be a third place. Yeah. And that's really the big like foundational thing where everything that's built on, like coffee with friends, you know, these community nights and all this stuff, like it all comes from this idea of us wanting to be a third place for people. We want to be a place where people can come and like forget everything, like walk in through our door, and whether they have stuff going on or things that they have to worry about, whatever, they can just like relax and just have everything just go off and just weight fall off their arms and their shoulders. And we've had people say that. Like we've literally had people say that when they come.
I mean, my friends from work come straight to our house.
Yeah.
After work.
Yeah.
And we sit here and we share a meal and we watch TV or hang out. I think we've tried to watch TV and it just never works. Because we always end up talking and having some kind of conversation about something. And well, like we do want you to leave things off, you know, outside, but also like bring it inside. Yeah. And let's talk about it. Yeah. And say what you got to say. Feel what you got to feel. Mm-hmm. And those are my favorite parts about being here, I think. And I've had plenty of people tell me that it's hard to leave. I think last week we had someone who was trying to leave and they never left. Yeah. Like they waited for everyone to leave. And I think he's done this twice now. But he'll get up and be like, I gotta go. Yeah. No, I'm gonna stay. And then he stays. Yeah, and then
if you're hearing this, you know you are. We love you.
Yeah,
we love
do.
You, bro.
We love you very much.
We love that you stay every time. It's so funny.
It's so great, but it's so funny, and we get it. I mean, I also suffer from severe FOMO a lot, and I think when you're having a good time, it's hard to leave. Yeah. It's hard to leave when you're feeling like restored.
Yeah, and again, like, we're not saying this to toot our own horn or whatever or anything.
Maybe
we're
I might be.
But you know, we're saying that to say, like, this thing works.
Yeah.
Like, this works, guys. I also said this last week. Like, there is, like, the power of the simplicity of community is so real, and it is so tangible, and like it really does work, and we're seeing that in real time. Yeah. And it's just such a blessing. It is honestly our favorite thing. We love doing it, and we want to keep doing it more and more. And honestly, like, again, what this podcast will eventually become is just like the virtual kind of like meetup of doing this. Like, if you want to come and you couldn't make it, or you know, there was a gathering, like, you know, a community night where we're answering a question that you had and you just couldn't be there, like, we want to have like no excuse to still offer that place.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, we want to have another third place, a fourth place, I guess, this kind of like, you know, internet realm where it's accessible. Like, it's accessible to have these things.
It's an third place.
Yeah. Yeah. But really that's the desire of this. So I guess, so moving along, you know, now that you guys kind of understand where this was birthed from and kind of like the desire. So to move on from that, you know, going into, I guess, what these things will become, what we'll be doing is having a lot of the conversations that we have at community night, and some conversations with people from Coffee with Friends, guests, and all that stuff on these podcasts. And with that, there's actually some questions that we'll be answering as well on here that we had some of y'all ask us at our last community night, which are really fun, very deep, and very, I guess, I don't know, they're great questions. They're great questions.
Yeah.
But we will be having people help answer these questions as well, because some of them are extremely nuanced, extremely multifaceted, and there's a lot of great people in our life that can answer these way better than we can. But with that, I think, again, like, the beauty of what we're doing here is we're wanting to create dialogue over topics that matter to y'all,
for sure,
and topics that maybe don't matter to the general public, but should. And I think, again, that's the beauty of these podcasts and having the freedom to speak on these things and have a space where we can really give our opinion, create, moments of conversation, and really add value to the world and to our communities. So you'll be hearing a lot of that as well on here. So we'll have a couple of those questions coming in the next couple of episodes. But really, we just wanted to kind of share with you guys today just what this is all about, why we're doing this. Yeah. Because I think that the best way to start something is to be very clear in sharing what it is that we're doing. And so that everyone's on the same page. And also that you guys can be invited into it. Like, we want y'all to feel a part of it. Like, this is not a show that we're doing with just like us. This is an open-ended thing. This is where we want you guys to be a part of the conversations and to, write in questions and write in responses, and we'll have people on the podcast sharing their thoughts and stuff. So that's really what the desire of this. It's just to continue to just create value and to add a space for people to have a voice and to share what they want to say and what they feel.
Yeah. I mean, I think you've summarized it pretty well. I don't think there's much that I have to add except for, like, this is for you as much as it is for us. And we do want you to feel like you're a part of this conversation. And if you have things to say or disagreements or just things to add on, like, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And we would love to have that conversation with you. I'd love to make you some coffee or tea if you don't drink coffee. I do make tea. I do make matcha. Yep. I can make different things. So I'm not limited to just coffee, but we would love to just have a conversation with you. Yeah. And know that we are consistently told that we're look intimidating, but we are so not intimidating.
Let me just speak on that real quick, because that's
listen, I get it when they say that about you, because you kind of you low-key look mean. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm 5'1", pink hair. I personally don't understand why people are intimidated by me. Most everyone is taller than me. But we're so not that.
Yeah, I just want to speak on that because, like, seriously, like, we are an open book. We love having open, honest conversations. We'll be the first. There's nothing you can tell us that's offensive to us that we haven't told ourselves or roasted ourselves about. So, like, it's not that deep. Just say something. Like, we are not, like, we are literally just regular people. So, we love having conversations. We love, like, opening our home and just getting to know people.
And Sam loves to be challenged.
Yeah, I
would love to hear your thoughts if they're not his thoughts.
Love debating, love talking, love having, philosophical, high level conversations, or even really stupid ones. You guys don't know me like that. Look, I am.
They don't know you like that.
Meme. Like, y'all don't know me like that, bro. Y'all don't know me like that. Like, I posted something on my Instagram. If you don't follow me at Samuel_Moises on Instagram. You'll find a lot of really good content there. The other day, I literally posted on my story that, like, people in the internet as a whole have been attacking me by calling me an unk. And I was like, dude, I am not that old. One, I'm not old. Okay, I am 25 years old.
I want you to know that I Googled what that was because I didn't know
but you're a millennial. Okay, so
I didn't know what it was. I had to ask my fellow Gen Zers.
I'm a Gen Z. Like, I'm 25, guys. Like, yeah, I'm on the older. I'm like on the cusp. Like, I am considered a zillennial because I'm like on that true. 99, 98 type of thing. 97, right? But, like, I'm not that old, guys. And, like, I know meme culture. Like, I literally said it on my story. Like, every brain rot exam that TikTok throws at me, I ace. 100% every time.
Low key, it's kind of an ick.
Like
It's high key an ick that
like,
he can
yo,
pass those.
guys,
He'll pass them, and I'm like, ew.
dude, like literally, I know all the lingo. I know
on
the meme
but on
mythology,
the other side, but like
the lore. Like
alternatively, babe, we watch all the Unk videos,
Well, yeah.
and you also qualify for
I
all
know.
of those.
Look,
you qualify for all of those.
I'm the avatar. Okay.
Oh,
I bring
my
balance. I'm kind of in the middle.
gosh.
But
Good.
no, but seriously, like guys, I'm not that old. But anyway, I
He's
still have
not
to
that
say,
old.
like,
He is a child,
like,
still in his heart.
talk to me about memes. Like, talk to me about meme culture. Like,
Yeah.
I am a deep well of memes.
This is true.
Like, y'all don't know me like that. Anyway,
This is
so
true.
the point is, we say all that to say again, like, look, we're honest, we're vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like, we will show you who we really are. Like,
Yeah.
we're not.
Well, you'll know who I
yeah.
am probably from the jump.
Yeah.
He's a little different.
But we just say that to say, like approach us.
Yeah.
Like, we're an open book. Like, we want to get to know y'all. We want y'all to get to know us. And like, it's not that deep, guys. Like, yes, like it is intimidating to talk to people and try to getting depth is intimidating. Like,
Sure.
we said this on kind of like the beginning podcast that we were trying to do. It's like, that whole, and we save us a lot of community night and stuff, and all the time you'll hear us bring it up. But like, it is intimidating. Like, that whole like let's do life together is intimidating, and it should be, because it's literally saying I love you. Like, it is the equivalent of saying I love you.
It's true.
And there's a reason why we joke around saying, oh, who said I love you first? Like, oh, don't say I love you, because it's such a deep phrase. Like, it's so much attached to I love you. And it's very limited, the people that we love. And, I attribute let's do life together to be that deep. Because again, like, what you're asking is a deep thing. To say let's do life together, then you're saying okay.
I mean, we could talk about relationships and like how we view friendships another time. I think if we start to get into it, I think we'll just go on for like an hour plus, just because I think there's like a lot that we could say about it. But you're right. Yeah. Like that is like the way I approach relationships. It's like, hey, like, what kind of friend do you want?
Yeah, because it's intimidating.
I can be be a lot of different kind of friends.
Yeah.
I can be very superficial.
Yeah.
Or we can like be about it, and I will challenge you and ask you to challenge me and keep me accountable. Yeah. And I mean, there are levels for sure. There are levels, and if you're a close friend of mine, like you'll know you're a close friend of mine. We've had conversations.
Yeah, there's levels to it, but yeah, it can be intimidating. The whole like, hey, like, let's do life together, or hey, like, I want to get to know you, like, I want that intimacy, but how much is too much? And obviously there's boundaries and there's levels to it, but really, there's truth to that, but I think there's a lot of like unnecessary pressure added to that. Sure. Like, it's like, let's just have conversations. Like, let's just, talk as human beings one to one. And I think truthfully, I think it's not our fault fully, because I think there's so much that's changed with the past couple of years, COVID and like the isolation of that, and like social media and all that stuff, obviously.
And I think there's like a lot of judgment out there that makes that part difficult. Judgment is hard, and judgment is painful. This house is a judgment-free zone. Yeah. Because, I think I would just vanish if people judged me for what I did.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like we said, it's an intimidating thing. It's intimidating. But I think that we have to always lead by example. And
for sure.
We always want to try to make our home and who we are as people as open and comfortable and
as safe.
As safe as possible. Because again, like, we've been on the other end. Yeah. And I mean, we've been through, and again, like, we'll save a lot of what we're saying. We're kind of like giving you guys some foreshadowing clips here. But like, we've been through a lot of extremely negative and toxic just environments and communities, and have been under leadership that's been toxic and hurtful. We've been in churches, we've been in workplaces, like, we've been in those situations, and like, we know on the receiving end how hard it is to then go back to being open. Yeah. Right? Because then you shut down, you isolate, and that's something that we still, both of us, in different ways struggle with, right? Sure. And so we understand the pressure and the weight of that, but I think, again, because we were in that place, that's why we want to never be that, and
For
like
sure.
be the opposite, and want it to be extremely open. And again, sometimes people say, oh, well, you guys are too open, or you know, like that's too much. And fine, sure, you know,
Yeah.
by all means, everyone has their opinion and their thought, and their, you know,
Yeah.
view of that. But I just think that as believers, but beyond that, just as human beings, like
Yeah.
I think the best thing we can do is create spaces of open dialogue,
Yeah.
of conversation, and of safety, in the sense that like come as you are, but like really come as you are.
Yeah.
Because I think, again, like even that phrase,
Yeah.
like there's so much attached to that. Like a lot of times people unfortunately use that phrase
For
to
sure.
kind of like catch people, like hook and bait people into
Yeah.
something, and be like, come as you are. Next thing you know, it's like, it's not come as I am, it's come as you want me to be, or come as I think I should be, and not
Or
really
it's
come
like-
as me.
Yeah, it's like come as you are, but also like fix these things.
Yeah, and
And
it's like
it's,
and again, that's
it's not
extremely
really come as you
unhealthy.
are.
And again, that stuff like affects the way we perceive when invitation is given. I think that's something that we've had to experience too, whether it's in the church world, in the work world,
Yeah.
in the social, whatever. Like it's like those things affect the way we perceive invitation.
Yeah,
and I think
for sure.
we live in a society that it's not an invitation problem. Like it's not that like we're not giving people invitations and opportunities. It's people are afraid to take them.
Yeah.
But again, it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Like it's actually our fault
For burning.
because we're not,
Yeah.
you know, we're not helping change the narrative,
Yeah.
or we're not helping deconstruct and rebuild people's trust in the invitation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the art of the invitation has been lost in that sense. Like we want so much to be like this open and hey, come and just trust. But it's like and we always say this, you have to earn your right to speak into people's lives.
For sure.
And the way you do that
For sure.
is to put yourself on the
Yeah,
chopping block
yeah, for
first
sure.
and be like, yo, I am
Yeah.
not perfect. I am screwed up, jacked
Yeah.
up. Like I'm
Yeah.
I'm a goofball.
And
like,
people
I'm
wait
stupid.
for that. People
Yeah.
wait for that moment to feel like, oh, he's just like me for real. People are waiting to see other people be real
Yeah.
and honest and vulnerable and about what they say.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, people are afraid of. I think people want to be invited.
Yeah.
People want
Yeah.
to be invited.
Mm-hmm.
People are afraid to get to the place of invitation.
Because they don't know what's on
They
the other
don't know
side.
what is
Yeah,
there.
what's on the other side of
and
that.
that takes a lot of building. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of investment on the party inviting others. You kind of, in a way, have to prove that you are about what you say that you are. And, you know, some people click right away and some people take a little longer to like unravel and unfold.
Yeah.
And there's no rush.
Yeah.
We're not in a rush or any of that. You know,
Yeah.
I'm pretty quick to unravel and unfold in front of people. I don't have very many things to be afraid of or ashamed of,
Yeah.
or I just don't care. it's just not that
Yeah,
deep
and everyone's
for me.
different, you
I
know.
just, that's
Yeah.
where he and I are a little different. He's
Yeah,
a little more
so
reserved.
different.
I'm definitely
She's the
like,
extrovert.
this is
Yeah.
all of my stuff.
Yeah.
And you can look at it and pick at it, and if you have questions, like great.
Yeah, yeah.
If you want to talk about it, great. If you want to like tell me your stuff, great. I think
Yeah.
I've always had this knack for having people tell me things I never ask about.
And that's a gift. And
And-
it's a very unique gift because I don't have it. I just don't. Like, I'm so different. And I think that, again, that's the
Yeah.
beauty of this. It's like we're so different, but
Yeah.
in a beautiful way because,
For
like,
sure.
again, like, I'm not like that. Like, I am
No.
introverted. I am very reserved. I'm very observant. I'm very kind of
Yeah.
like, so again, I think the beauty of us sharing that too is, again, like, wherever you fall,
Hey,
you'll,
I'm observant too.
yeah,
Hey.
you are. But, it's like wherever you fall on
Yeah.
that spectrum, you will find that with us
Yeah.
and in this home and
Yeah.
in these gatherings. Because, like, again, if you are that extroverted person, whatever, like, boom.
Great.
If you're more of like the reserved, kind of like, I'm just, kind of like whatever, like, cool, like, same here. Like, let's talk through that. Let's walk through that. Like, it's
There's
a
no
journey.
pressure.
It's a journey. It's like how people always say that corny analogy. It's not a... What is it? It's a
I don't
marathon,
know.
not a sprint. All that stuff. Like like it is a journey. It takes time, but truthfully, that's also what real discipleship is.
But we can also talk about the people who want to sprint.
Yeah.
Like me.
Yeah. And like, that's the thing. Like, discipleship is that.
Yeah.
Like, that's really what it is.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, too, guys. Like, it's not that deep. Like, discipleship is just that. It's just doing life in that sense. It's just being and not doing that. Like,
Yeah. It's finding your people.
Just being with people, finding your people, you know, putting your hand out there and it being burned, or being met with another hand grabbing it and saying, I'm with you. Like, that's life. Like, that is the ebb and flow, the risk and reward.
What is life
it.
without risk, babe?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's really where that comes from. And again, like, we're saying all this so that you guys can have a look inside into our desire, like our heart, our mind, our soul, our spirit of who we are and what we want to do, so that when you do come to these podcasts, come to these gatherings, like, you know what to expect, and you say, okay, like, this is what I can expect walking into this.
And if you're doubtful about what we're saying, you're like, nah, that's all cap. That's all fake.
They're just saying that.
Y'all just saying that for the whatever, for the cloud,
gaslighting me.
If that's really what you think, like, come back and find out.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
It's come find out. I think there's no better way than to, like, just show up.
Yeah.
And find out and listen and hear. And if you still think it's all cap, like, hit us up.
Yeah.
Let's get together.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
And I like that you preface that, because, truthfully, you know, again, like, this is all just yapping at this point.
Yeah, they're just words.
This is a yap session.
I was trying to say the word yap, but I was holding back.
Yeah. This is about to be a 40-minute yap session. So, you know, obviously you could say, oh, okay, well, that's a whole bunch of, you know, but, you know, at the end of the day, again, just like, it's open, honest conversations, having that accessible. That's where true, like, life change and all that, sure, but, like, just honestly, like, true, like, getting to know people comes from.
Yeah.
So anyway, like I was saying, we're at 36 minutes. We wanted to keep this somewhat short. We don't want to have a super long podcast, unless they're, like, really deep conversations. We have guests on the podcast and stuff, and things we want to share. But, like, we just wanted to take a quick, just like 30-something minute conversation, just so for you guys just to get to know us, if you don't, and get to know why we're doing this and what we're doing, like, what they are, like, these gatherings that we're doing. And just to, again, just let y'all know, like, we're here for you guys. We love you guys. We want to create space. Like, we want to create space for y'all. And this is just another medium, another outlet, to do that. Yeah. So without further ado, thank y'all guys for coming through and listening to us for almost 38 minutes. We hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night, morning, whether you're driving to work, hanging out, going on a run, wherever you're listening to this. We just want to say thank you. We love you guys, and we will catch you guys on the next one. What was our outro? What was it?
Go have fun, live your life, and go get coffee with friends.
There you go. Boom. All right. Take it easy, guys. Catch you on the next one.